The cool thing about interior design in just, I guess, everything is it's always growing and changing, and technology is always changing. You know, when I started my business, we hand drew everything, and that wasn't that long ago.
Welcome to Let's Talk, ladies, conversations across generations. I'm MB Roberts, an author and journalist, and this is a podcast where we talk to women from their 20s to their 90s about a bunch of hot topics. We ask questions, share experiences, and learn from each other. And it's not just about older women giving advice. We want to know what younger women are thinking too. So let's get talking. Nearly 40 years ago, Nashville-based designer Kathy Anderson was working as a designer when she decided to strike out on her own. So Anderson Design Studio, established in 1988, was born. If you live in Nashville, you've definitely seen Kathy's work. Those amazing, cool, vibey dressing rooms at the Grand Ole Opry, that's Kathy and her company. They restored and redesigned the backstage area after the flood of 2010 in Nashville. And hotels like Gaylord Opryland, entertainment hotspots like Blake Shelton's Ole Red, iconic spots like RCA Studio A, and custom homes for everybody from Alan Jackson and Reba McEntire to Kid Rock, so many others. Recently, Kathy made a switch and she became chairwoman of her company. She's in the process of transitioning the business to her design director and partner, Katie Sticks, and partners Sam Leiby and Olga Lockbeeler. She still works for sure. She remains incredibly present and active, but this role gives her more flexibility. It's a win-win for Kathy and her partners and her clients. And I'm interested how this works. What are the challenges in letting go? And is this a cool, effective model for how to mentor and how to leave your business to up-and-coming partners? Let's talk to Kathy. It's my dream to have you design a space for me. How many people say that to you? But it really is, that's when when I make a score, I want you still to be available and working because I want you to design a space for me.
Yeah, well, I would love to. And it's funny how many people have said that through the years and thinking they would never be able to afford it, and then they get to that place and they do easily. So it's it's been fun.
Okay, and that's better than you and I have laughed over the years. How many people come up to you? I try not to do this and say, "Oh, I just want to ask you one thing, Kathy.
Yeah.
I just want to ask you what color should the bathroom be, or what piece should I put here in this corner?"
Right.
How do you handle that when people?
Well,
say
I
that
think
to you?
about how a doctor feels. They're supposed to on the fly. Well, it must be your whatever. But I don't mind. But I don't just do one thing. So, like, I really interpret the place and the person that I'm working with. So you can't just randomly say, "Oh, the popular color now is rosemary by Sherwin-Williams." I mean, it just because I don't even know what their house looks like. So.
Right, it's too big of a question. Like people,
Right.
My husband is a photographer, as you know, and people would do that years ago when I first started helping him with some work. They'd say, "Oh, but we just need one picture."
Right.
Like as if you just make
Right.
one and then go on your way. It's like a whole
Right.
day, all the planning, or people will say to me, "Oh, I just need, a short little thing." It just doesn't work that way.
Oh,
well,
it's true.
To go back a little bit, so I was just remembering you went to UCLA and got your
did.
architecture degree.
I did. Well, interior architecture.
Interior architecture. Okay. That's impressive.
Yeah, that was fun. It was great. It was a real opportunity, and to get my first training in that city. My first job was in Los Angeles for two amazing women, Alice Fong and Yoko Miyagawa, and I learned so much from them. So, and I think a lot of the way my business is run today is still very much what I learned from them.
Oh my gosh! What were some of the big things you learned from them?
Just processes. They were very very transparent about everything they did, which I like that. It was like, here's our wholesale cost, and your cost is an additional 35%, and it was all very clear. So where a lot of designers kind of like to hide prices, I couldn't I couldn't go that way. I have to have everything very clear.
Right. Oh, I bet clients really appreciate that then, Is
I
that
think
something
they do.
they like?
They do. And also people that have worked with other designers especially like it because they always know where they stand. They know what things are going to cost before they order it. So there's no surprises.
Yeah, you don't get like this big old bill.
Exactly.
That could get ugly.
Right.
Well, when people ask you to describe your approach or your style, do you have I was reading warm contemporary? Is that something you say? Like it's kind of, but it depends on the client, right?
Sure. Every project is totally different. But I don't. I'm bored with like all white interiors. That's kind of been a popular theme for a while, and I find that very boring.
You are great with color. I've been in your homes and just I aspire to that. Just to put some unexpected color in an unexpected place.
Yeah, I love color. I love things that is a surprise. I wouldn't have expected that piece of art or that that item, that weird chair, but it works. So I think my style is really, my craft is interpreting what space would reflect you. And so a lot of times people don't know, it's like, how do you describe yourself? Like nobody ever does that, right? So I think that's a big part of what I do is just kind of analyzing the person and then providing a space that I think reflects them.
Yeah, I bet over the years, I imagine that you'll meet with a client and they'll be like, oh, just, I don't know, just do what you do. And then that's not okay. Like
that's
you need
actually
to ask questions.
the hardest is like, I know I did a house for one single guy and he said, I don't know, I just want it to be cool. It's like, okay. But then I also am analyzing things they can't say, how they dress, what music they like, what, how they entertain their friends. All of those things kind of help like interpret who they are.
Yeah, and if you know them a little bit, that's really great.
Right.
Or if you can, because it's not just about what things look like. You're not snapping a picture of this perfect place. Where do you guys eat at night, or where do you hang?
Right, and what are where do you spend your mornings? Do you if you're designing a house from ground up, they like to be in the kitchen in the mornings. You want the sun coming in there.
Yeah.
So it's really like making their world better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like psychology or counseling, kind of life coach, kind of all that. Now, what do you do when a client, I really want like all black walls and, I don't know, like something bizarre hanging from the ceiling. Do you guide them a little bit, or you're like, okay, that's what they want?
I do guide them, and I try to find out why they're wanting that, what makes that, what are they drawn to about that? Because I have to remember that people don't think design like I do every day. So then they're asked to describe what they want, and they don't even have the words or the knowledge because that's not where their studies have been. Yeah. They're doing something else.
Right, and that's why that's cool, because that's why they do people, I used to have a hairstylist who would kind of chuckle when people would, it's like a little 5-foot brunette is bringing in a picture of, a 6'10" supermodel with totally different kind of hair texture and say, this is what I want. Like, do people bring you a picture of, I don't know, the Taj Mahal and say, yeah, I want this in my studio apartment?
Right. Well, it's funny with the photos, people, because now there's Pinterest and, all the sites. So, and I always say, just share your pictures. It doesn't matter if they don't relate or, I'll see some similar pattern, and it helps me kind of understand what feels good to you.
That's kind of helpful then.
Yeah, it's kind of helpful. But it doesn't mean we're going to do any of those things.
Right. Just kind of.
Because you want to do something better than what they can come up with.
Right.
So, but it's sometimes inspiration, or it's a way to talk about stone on the fireplace versus a little more contemporary. So sometimes it's good for talking points, because it's a visual career, so a visual thing you're providing. So it's good to have something to look at, to talk about, rather than just describing.
Yeah.
Because everybody hears something different when you describe it.
Sure. Yeah. Like we say contemporary, someone might not really know, like you said, have the language.
Yeah,
of,
well,
of
how
design
many people say, oh, I don't like country, but yet they love artists that actually are country?
Oh,
So,
all the time.
Because it's like a format. So they think, oh, contemporary is a format. I don't want that.
I've
It's
heard
like,
that ever since we've lived here. Now, see, okay, so that's a good segue. How does living in Nashville so long inform your work? I mean, besides just the fact that a lot of clients are in the music business, or just part of this town, like that has definitely informed your work, hasn't it?
Oh, it has, for sure. And Nashville has a very warm. And I think that's probably why I say the warm contemporary is kind of because Nashville is a warm city. It's a friendly city. And so if you have a home that feels cold, it might work in Chicago, but it doesn't work here because people are more casual and it's more friendly. So, yeah, I've been fortunate to do a lot of recording artist homes. I forget how many I've done that are members of the Grand Ole Opry, maybe 16 homes of people that are Grand Ole Opry members, maybe more. I need to count that.
Let's count that up.
I'm not much of a scorekeeper. I'm kind of like every day is a new day. But we've also had the opportunity, besides doing residential, we do commercial, and so we've been able to do. Remember, we had the big flood, 2010 in Nashville, and so we did the renovation of the Grand Ole Opry house and all the dressing rooms.
Oh, those
backstage,
are so cool.
That was really fun.
Listeners, if you ever get a chance to go back there, they are so wonderful.
Yeah, and they have a tour. Like it's it is fun to. Like, as it tells the story. Yeah.
And that's how you approached it. Like, when you got that gig, like, after the shock of, because you were in Nashville at the time with the flood. And like, whoa, we got a lot to do here to restore. Like, then was it really fun to make that
It really was fun. Rebuilding from something and recovering from something when everybody really, like, works together. The energy is so great, and the CEO, Colin Reed, is just an amazing person, and he's got great vision, and we just kind of went back and forth and came up with the concepts, and everything had to happen pretty quickly because the Grand Ole Opry was homeless. Like it needed.
Yeah, it wasn't going on.
Right.
Yeah.
And we would find guest places to do it, but it wasn't. Yeah, and it's a 100-year-old show, so it is. Now they're just celebrated 100 years.
Yes. And was that hard to? Did you get any pushback from? Maybe people wanted it to look like it used to.
Well, people in general don't like change. I mean, they hate change. I don't know what that is. Some people just really can't take it.
I can kind of, I'm a little like that. Like, it's just stress. It's unknown. It's,
right. But it can be so much better.
Right.
And the thing is, with the Grand Ole Opry, that's my greatest compliment is it feels so great. It feels like it should have always been this way, and so it. People are afraid, I think, the story or the history is going to be lost, but you can make it better. Like, for example, yesterday I was at another project we did, RCA Studios, and Aubrey Preston owns the building, and he's done so much to save history, and like he saved all those buildings in Leaper's Fork and turned them into galleries and shops, and but the compliment is, like, there were some people that work in the building, and they thought that some of the finishes in there were always the way it was, that it was like that originally.
Oh, wow.
So that's good.
That is a compliment.
That was my goal, is to restore it to the, late 60s, early 70s, which was a very simple period. It wasn't like too fancy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Too ornate.
It was an office building, so it was office studio. So yeah, it's fun to go back later. It's been 10 years since we did that renovation, and now we're doing a little more renovation. But it's fun.
That's really, really cool, and I could just see the challenge. I've spent a lot of time in the Florida Keys, and like a hurricane will come and really damage this cool old dockside restaurant or something.
Right.
And then when they rebuild, I mean, they're not going to rebuild it with termite infested wood. It's
Right.
like they have to do something
Right.
to make it more sturdy. But
Sure.
how
Well,
do you
also
make it?
codes gets involved, and you have to do better.
You do. You do.
You can't get by with that anymore.
That's right. That's right. But I would think that'd be super challenging. Like,
Yeah.
well, we've talked. You and I've talked a lot. You have a couple of partners that you're working with, and just when folks first come onto your staff, like how is that working with a new designer? Like, is that so much in your head? Is it hard to teach it?
It is hard to teach it. Well, I don't know. It depends on how they want to learn it. Really, I mean, I teach by example, and I don't hire anyone that doesn't have an interior design degree. So they've had to already go through a lot of training and process to get there.
Fundamentals.
But they're not familiar with how like real life works, real budgets and real clients and real. So that's the challenge, and also just the entry level. It's just a lot of times their first job, so that's challenging. But at this point, I don't really work in the beginning with the entry level people. The partners you mentioned, Sam Leiby, Katie Sticks, and Olga Lockbeeler have bought into my company.
Right.
It's now actually their company.
Which is such an interesting, this is an interesting model. Like, not everybody does that.
It's been great. And, because I've had such a great career. I've had my business 37 years. It's been awesome. I've raised kids. I've gone through Nashville growing, and it's been an incredible career. And, I'm 68 years old now, and I'm at the point, while I still love design and I will continue to do it because it's not something you retire from. I mean, I don't work at a factory. I'm gonna.
I don't see it for you. I can't believe you wouldn't.
It's just part of me.
Yeah,
so,
fixing a space or doing something.
Yeah, and most designers and architects, they work well into their 90s if they're able. So, but the day to day, the training the new people, the getting the billing out, the supplies, the printer's not working, all that is now Katie, Sam, and Olga.
Cool. You can offload that. Like, I would love to offload some tasks like that. I'd be
nice.
Fine with not having to micromanage or control that.
No, and they're so talented, and they've worked with me over 10 years before they got to that position. So, so.
That's fantastic. Then they're super ready. They're super ready for this. Like,
yes. Yeah.
Do you trust them, like, when they're now working on something?
Oh, absolutely.
Without you? You're
absolutely.
like, they got this.
Yes. Yeah, they do. They do. And then they're great with, like, if it's a project I'm working on, say it's a client, like you said, one day I want, you to do my house. I would love that. So probably how I would start there is, I would work with you because I know you, and I would help pull that together. But then I'd also have, probably Katie or Sam work with me, and then they would kind of take over the coordination. And because a big part of what we do, the creative, is very important, the most important part, but it's a small part of a whole project. I mean, we design the project, and then over 2 years it's built. So there's a lot of decisions and little things and, kicking subs along to get it to happen correctly. So it's not something that's a part-time job,
Right.
So they handle all the details. So it's great.
Right. So this is something like I know people who are approaching retirement or trying something new, whatever. I think it's great to think of who will be. I want this to keep going.
Right. Yeah, and I think when people are self-employed, they don't think that way. But, we have to think bigger and really understand you make the world a better place by teaching and paying it forward. And, and then I want them to have the great career I've had. And it's built up to this point, and they get to, take it from there and keep it, make it even better.
Right.
So.
That's really great. How is it different for your partners right now than it was for you, say, 25 years ago or 30 years ago?
Well, when I started, I had to do everything. I mean, they can kind of divide up the the task a little bit.
Yeah, there's more of them on the team. That's
right,
different. Yeah.
Right. But, I had to, get the work, design the work, follow through with construction management, select the furniture, order the furniture, receive the furniture, all of that. And now Olga is the kind of office manager, procurement director, and she handles all that. So it's great. So it's just really splitting up the opportunities of task.
Yeah, and that's there's 27% of women are architects currently working, but 47% is the new up and coming class. Like we're just seeing a rise of women interior architects, traditional architects. I think that's encouraging. Was it mostly women in the business when you were first getting in, or combination?
Well, when I first started, my first job was for 2 women, but then until I started my own business, I worked for men. And it was very kind of like, not, you didn't even mention that you had kids or anything like that.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, you just, followed the rules. And also things have changed a lot, mostly for the better too, with the people being more sensitive to your life and your work. It doesn't have to be separated. But I did work for architects, so I got my training more in the architectural world.
Yeah. And but I think you're right. I think that is a wonderful change. I can see, like in the 70s or 80s, if you got pregnant, you might really be done working, or just the expectation was that you wouldn't come back.
You took 6 weeks, and that was it.
Yep. Yep.
And now they can take 3 months, and it's
and men too. Like the company I used to work for gave men a maternity leave as well, which I thought was pretty cool.
Which is cool. I just don't know, as a small business, how you can afford that, because in our business, what we sell is our people. Our people are our product. So if they're not working, we're not making money on them, and then and we're paying them.
Yeah.
So it's a real struggle in a small business when someone does take a maternity leave, and we all work together to take care of that. Now we're all women, so we don't have the paternity situation, right. but anything could happen. So it's a challenge. We all have to really cover for them and sacrifice for that to happen.
Yeah. So like a woman just out of school or wants to be in this kind of business, like what would you tell her are some of the challenges? Like if she's like, oh, I really want to have my own firm, and I'm ready to do that, and and she was asking your advice and open to it.
Well, I would say learn from somebody else first. Why make mistakes on your own time? Make them on somebody else.
That's so true. And when I think of your business, I think, like if I make a mistake as a writer, hopefully there's no libel or not, not like a big, hurtful, weird thing like that. But, usually I correct it.
Yeah. So sorry.
on the screen. But if let's say I ordered the wrong furniture, doesn't fit, isn't that just feels to me,
if they work for me, I pay for it.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yes. And that's why my house people go, I bet your house is beautiful. It's like, well, it's a series of mistakes, but it's all things that I liked. So
yeah, you just brought it home.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we'll just use this here.
That's like when I was a waitress out of college. I worked for a place that if you made a mistake, you bought it. So like if I grabbed wrong burrito and took it out and the person took a bite, I paid menu price out of my pocket.
Wow.
Like, isn't that mean?
That is mean.
But it's like kind of like that. Kind of the same kind of thing. You make mistakes, somebody's paying for it, right?
Right.
Hopefully that doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen a lot at all. No.
Yeah. you doesn't. Measure twice,
oh, yeah.
cut once.
We kind of, and the thing is, we don't put entry level people
with big decisions like that,
without there's lots of checks and balances to make sure everything's going to be perfect.
That's good. I don't know. It seems so stressful. It's so different from what I do, what you do. It just seems to me like
it takes
scary.
so many players. It's not something I can do solo.
Yeah.
I need the craftsmen, I need the contractors, the subs, we've got to work with the mechanical engineers. Like, don't put a thermostat on that wall because we've got a big art piece, because they love to just pick a middle of a big wall.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got to think about so many things all through construction. But so there is a lot of details, and you learn a lot of that with experience. I mean, so they're coming out of school, but it takes some time. It's like doctors, when they start out, they do, internships first, or is that what they call it? Internships?
Yeah, you're an intern.
An intern. Okay.
Yeah, docs are interns before they're.
So so are you as a designer, and but you're learning, but you're getting paid to learn.
Yeah. Which is that is such a
right, because they've just spent 4 years paying to learn.
Right. No, you got it. Like, internships are so great. Every kind of work.
It is.
Are you finding some things besides, the day-to-day mundane? Like, are you finding some things kind of hard to let go as you,
It is hard to let go, just because I'm so detail oriented, and it's hard to halfway do it. So I am just learning how to balance the kind of my new role, and but I'm loving it. It's great, and the office is running great. They're doing an amazing job, and I'm still have the opportunity to see everything, give my input. So I want them to be successful too. So I don't want to take all this knowledge that I've taken 40 years to gain and lose it. So I'm going to pass it on to them as long as I can.
That's great to feel like it lives somewhere,
Right.
That's a wonderful feeling. Well, what are you finding are the things you're learning from them? Whatever you learning from your partners that surprise you?
The cool thing about interior design, and just, I guess, everything, is it's always growing and changing, and technology is always changing. When I started my business, we hand drew everything, and that wasn't that long ago. Now, we have CAD, and that's always changing, and now we've got AI, and I think we've challenged each other with like, let's make that work to our advantage. How can we use that, to help us, bring some ideas to life, or, so it's just fun that the entry level people bring more like new technical skills, but then we bring we've still got to build it, it's got to be built no matter what you think of. You've got to tell because what we do is a set of instructions for somebody to build by, and we're not always there on the site. So it has to be clear in drawings. So we have to be creative, but then we have to document it so anybody could build it.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's that's great that you're embracing AI. I heard, I have a friend who's a professional organizer who said, like, I have to at least be knowledgeable about it, because now all my clients will say, "Oh, can I just do this with AI? Like, what do I like?" It's good to say, well, probably not. Like, you're not there. You can certainly get some ideas. Or
we don't have a robot yet.
That's coming after the partners. The partners will. Yeah. Your partners will have
robots.
A robot.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about the robot. I want one.
Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh, just clean the house.
Yeah.
Do all the things you don't want to do.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, what's left to do? I mean, your personal space, or
for me. Travel. When you're running a business day to day, you can take off a week, 10 days. It's hard to be gone for very long.
Yeah.
But now with such great partners, I'm able to travel more, and it's very inspiring. It's like just to like this summer, I was in Spain for a couple of weeks. Then in Paris and London. So that was great. So that's kind of, I just really having the freedom to not be in a service business like minute to minute,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to have time to travel. And
oh, that's the best.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. And the inspiration from the travel, I bet, like, did you get so much, like, from being in Spain?
New sources, new ideas. And it's great to share that with, you know, with the office.
Yeah. Absolutely. Bring it back to them.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's great that you are, you know, learning from people who are haven't been in the business as long as you, and that you're leaving this for them and have this model. I think it's a great way for people to think.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. And, you know, they help me a lot. I'm like, I can't figure out what happened to my signature on my email has disappeared. Like, please come help me.
It's like, please, I don't want to spend half
I don't
of the
know
day.
where it went.
Half of the day. And I have no shame about that either anymore. I used to be embarrassed.
No.
And now I'm like, can someone just do that? I don't need to know how to do it.
So you know, we help each other, and it's great.
Oh, that's what a gret place to be. Well, I'm so glad you talked to us today. I so appreciate you being here. And gosh, I really, really do want you to come and do my next.
I would love to.
The next place that I live. It's going to be the best thing ever. Thank you.
Great. Yes, I enjoyed it. Thank you.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Let's Talk, Ladies, Conversations Across Generations. We'd love to hear from you. If you like this episode, please subscribe to the show on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. And you can comment on the episode on any of these platforms. We love the feedback, and it also really helps us with sponsors. So leave those comments. We so appreciate it. And follow us on Instagram and Facebook. You can also send us an email at ltlconversations@gmail.com. Or leave us a voicemail at 629-888-3542. See you next time on LTL.